So I accidentally left the window open until 6 p.m. and now we've got all these little bugs. There's even one down here. I don't know if you can see it. It's somewhere around here. Right on the edge of here somewhere. I don't know, I can't find it. I think that's it. It's here somewhere. There it is, the little bug. Little bug that won't quit. Um, Still has its wings and everything. But yeah, I left the window open tonight till 6, and now I've got like moths and these little ants and little bugs and other creatures. I accidentally closed the window on one of the bugs, but I sort of said sorry before whisking it off to the earth. Um, but it's not the only bug that's going to be dead by tomorrow. But yeah. So that was my bad. That was today's bad. Other than that, I just really went to the dentist. I finally got a filling, and my tooth feels so much better. I don't usually use needles when I get fillings. Usually, I'm like the brave person who literally never orders, any needles. But today I was just given one, so it's like no one asked me if I wanted one. I was just given one. And my whole, like half my jaw, was very numb for a few hours, and then funnily enough, by the time I had to start my afternoon shift today, it was pretty much all better, so that I could talk without, slurring my words. So that was really good, and I was very happy that I finally got a filling because my teeth are often super sensitive. And what happened, they realized that I had actually a broken filling in my tooth, and I had that had to be cleared, and then I had to get a new filling. So that was pretty good. I mean, I feel great when I get a filling because the sensitivity that my teeth get stop, and then I can finally enjoy just my teeth feeling normal. Saying that, I don't know, I have no idea if in 6 months I'll need another filling, but I've got like lots of tiny little holes in my teeth, but no one's really that worried about them right now. They're usually on the top of, my teeth, especially the ones near the front. But, yeah, so, as long as you got your dentist having an eye on them, but they filled the one that needed a filling. Needed a cleanup and a filling. But tomorrow I want to get rid of some cobwebs because I have, it's been a couple weeks and the spiders just keep building up cobwebs. I mean, inside, outside, wherever. Sometimes I just open the window in the morning and there's like cobwebs built outside the window. So when I open it, you hear this breakage of threads, which is the breakage of the window of the spider's web that the spiders have created during the night. So I need to sort of dust my room tomorrow. I'm going to try and relocate some daddy long legs and stuff like that. But I'm literally spending most of this week working. I have no idea how to fit in time for writing or anything else. And I'm like, except on the weekends. And so I'm like, yeah. Because by the time like it's evening, I'm toasted. My eyes and my body are toasted. I don't want to do anything to do with a computer, and so that leaves me without the energy to write. But I'm sure if I did 10 minutes of writing after I finish work in the evenings, um, that could sort of, or even just 10 minutes before I start work, I think that could be a little beneficial. And just time myself 10 minutes because I literally, like, unless it's a weekend, I don't have any spare time to do the writing unless I turn on the computer again. And after I've shut the computer off, I'm always like, I'm not gonna turn on my computer again until tomorrow. So yeah, I have no ambition, so I have to do it when I'm on the computer or something. I guess that's something that I have to kind of figure out someday. At the moment, like I've sort of left my blog. I'm not really doing that much computer wise except for working. But I'm finally working full time hours, so that's really good. Um, I like to prioritize my meetings to go with other things that I'm doing. I already booked myself um, another dentist in 6 months' time, but I have a feeling that if I drop the booking, I will have to pay a non-attendance fee. And I didn't think of that when I was moving to book. I just said, oh, I'm probably going to be here another 6 months anyways, so I may as well book. I think I have to either, yeah, I think I have to either clean up one of my emails or relocate a subscription that I have to another email. Sometimes it's like the name of the email gets you inspected, and so people are like, oh, we don't like your email, so we don't want anything to do with you. But it's been a while since I've been called up for any kind of modeling, so I'm like, I don't really care. I just want to exchange the email address so that I can receive notifications, because the email that it's linked to right now cannot, because apparently I've gone over storage limit. I don't want to pay for excess amount of storage, and I just haven't bothered updating the email. Virtually all I have to do is go on a platform and update an email. I could do it tomorrow while I'm working, I guess, because I virtually don't have to do that much. I'm only doing my slow moving job this week, so um, I don't actually have to do that much, and I've got lots of flexibility to do other things. What can I say? It's a very slow moving job. I mean, that's the best way to explain it. You just don't do anything. You basically sit there for hours before anything happens, and so you're like, yeah. So you're like, sure enough, I have to input a number, but then I'm just sitting there for like a few minutes and then repeat that 100,000 times. But that's what I like about the job. It's not a challenge. But then, do I have the patience to stay awake while I'm doing absolutely nothing while sitting at a computer? This week I've been a little bit inventive. I've been sort of jumping up and down, doing some squats while I'm working. I try not to do anything in excess, but after you're spending a couple of hours sitting, it's like you need to get up and do something. Sometimes I literally just drop the phone, then I wander to the other side of the house, and then I come back just to have a little bit of reprieve, and that helps to reduce stress. It makes me feel like I can do, like, I don't know, 5 more hours if I feel like it. But literally, in another hour, I need to repeat that maneuver. I just literally like put down the phone, and then I go for a walk just to distract myself and to get some blood circulating. And then I come back and it's like, yeah, now I'm refreshed and can get on there and do more calls. But it is pretty tedious. I mean, sometimes you're like sitting there yawning and going, I cannot sit here anymore. And it's like you have to sort of reason with yourself during those times there and be like, well, what would you rather be doing? You'd rather be doing nothing and not earning any money? And you're like going, no, of course not. So, you have to put up with the tediousness if you want to get paid. But this is like one of the luckiest jobs ever. I mean, you literally do nothing. And I get so bored that I'm yawning from boredom, not because I'm actually tired. But sometimes I am tired. Like today, it was really hot and I didn't sleep in or anything, and I was like kind of tired. And that's when I get a tea, wake me up a little. It's probably the sugar that I put in the tea that sort of makes me feel a little bit more alert. But I do feel lucky this year with jobs because I've had so many jobs. I've had like probably around 7 jobs this year that have been escalating me financially. I'm currently holding on to 3 jobs, 3 main jobs, and actually 2 main jobs and 2 other jobs, which, are just crappy jobs. One of them I haven't actually done for a couple of weeks now, and not the other one I'm just doing for 10 minutes before I start the other job or after I finish when I'm due for a break. I take an hour break in the middle of the day, and then I go until early evening, and then after that, after 7 p.m. hits, I'm like done. Then so's my brain as well and my eyes. Like I do eye exercises when I work because I'm at the computer so much, and I'm like, sometimes my eyes are like, oh, I'm not sure if I can see anymore. But if I keep this up, I'll probably feel pretty good by the end of this year, and then I can say, yes, I've actually been doing something this year. The previous three years, not so great, but this year is like really, 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 really picked up, and it's like, oh my gosh, I've just had a lucky year, I guess. I mean, it's not the luckiest year I've ever had, ever, but it's a pretty lucky year, I would say. But I keep feeling stuck saying that. I keep feeling stuck. And I have to keep reminding myself, don't spend money, but every week I find an excuse. I mean, this week I found really cheap Christmas gifts, so I bought them. And then I realized, oh, one of my sheet machines don't work, so I had to today buy a new one. That one was a really good purchase because I used a gift certificate that I just received today. So I'm like, isn't it ironic? I just received a gift certificate. It was actually right after the moment I decided that I need to buy this thing that broke. And then I look on my gift cards, and just came in as a gift certificate. I'm like, how trippy is that? I decide I need something desperately, and then I get this gift certificate that covers pretty much 99% of the cost. And I'm like, oh, that's so trippy. I mean, that means that I'm getting something that costs like $50, no, $57 for only $7. And I'm like, well, that's a pretty good bargain. I like it. I like it when you get surprises like that, because then you're like, oh, it sort of feels a little bit like, I don't know, just good fortune, I guess. I keep thinking I wouldn't mind traveling, but I've been scared of traveling since COVID. I haven't actually been on a plane since forever, since 2018, and that was ages ago. Now I don't know if I could, navigate through an airport or anything. It's like I'd be scared and nervous of traveling. But I keep kicking myself because at the beginning of this year I had an opportunity to travel, and if I had taken it up, I would get paid for travel to the other side of the world. But I didn't pick that up this year because have major skin issues and sort of was overweight. And I said, I'm not gonna go because they're just gonna they're just gonna tell me, oh, why'd you come? You should have told us. You should have replied after we showed some interest. So I literally just did an online cow where I was sort of like obviously voicing distress, and it's like, oh, I can't go because I have X amount of issues. And of course, I dropped some sort of opportunity, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should have done that because I sometimes do want to travel, and that's just a great excuse to be able to travel when everything's paid for. But sometimes I do lose a lot of things when I travel, and but I sort of still feel like traveling. I mean, I feel like traveling, but I don't want to bother with it. So it's like if someone else is paying for it, I'd be like, yes. That's why I apply for competitions where you can win trips, because if you win it, you don't have to pay for anything. And then I'm like, yes, that's so great. But I'm literally still scared of traveling as well. Um, so I'm scared because of COVID. Like, I don't know anything about COVID, and I didn't need it at all. And I have no idea, like, what the protocols are worldwide in relation to COVID. Whether people are still getting it, or, if you have to have specific amount of injections before you enter premises or anything. It's like, I don't know. I mean, during the peak season, there were those sorts of things, but now that's all, the peak's gone, and now it's all bushfires this season. It's like, yeah, now that the peak's gone, it's like I have no idea what the leftover, you know, legislation is worldwide. I'm like, I have no idea, and so I don't bother with traveling because I'm like, can be bothered finding that out and sort of discovering or figuring this out and that out, and you know. But the worry at the moment is bushfires. I sort of have to look up every day if there's any bushfires because there's bushfires near us, but not completely near us, and like it's like near us, like an hour or an hour and a half. No, probably more like 2 hours drive away, kind of near us. It's like within our vicinity, but far away from where we actually are. Last weekend was closer. There was one a suburb away that was put under control. But everything is just so dry. You just know that they're gonna break out all over the place, and they are. I mean, there's like in our state, I think there's around 10 bushfires, at least, if not more. And yeah, always feel like if something happens here, I'll want to move because I'm unsafe. The person who owns this house doesn't take natural disasters into consideration a lot, and so they're always like, "Oh, I gotta fix something," but it's never anything to do with whether or not the property or the house is weather safe. So in the event of extreme weather, what will keep it safe. So if there's a fire, a bushfire, say, and the fire sweeps out everywhere, it's like, is anything fireproof? And you're like, no, but we do have fire blankets. Do we have a fire extinguisher? No, but we do have fire blankets. When I first moved in here, I did have the idea that it must have been bushfire season because I did have the idea to buy fireproof clothes. And that's one way that I'm keeping just my individual self a little protected. And I also bought fireproof shoes, so I guess when we moved in here, it must have been fires around. But, like I said, I mean, it's not really that safe. I mean, there's no preventative measures in the event of a cyclone or anything. And so all I did was slap some insurance on my my personal belongings this week, just in case we do get a cyclone or whatever, a bushfire. I have some ways to get back things that I have got. But I always tell myself, I'll just wait till there's one disaster and then move. But it's like, maybe I should be smart and move before anything happens. And I'm like, no, I'm always like, no, I can be bothered. I don't want to pay rent. I really hate paying rent. And I can never be bothered. So I'm sort of being stingy right now. Yeah. And, but I don't feel safe. Anyway, that's enough of me talking tonight. I gotta get some beauty sleep before I do exactly the same as what I did today, but double and triple tomorrow. So I'm going to have to get up early, go for an early morning walk. If I were living alone, I'd be like up early every day because of the dog. But since it's not my dog and I never have to get up, it's like I sleep him. But going for a walk before you do anything early in the morning, like say 6:30 to 7:30, is really actually quite good. I mean, I feel quite alert when I do it like that because when I just get up and hop on the computer, I'm like, I'm still half asleep. And so I'm always like, oh, wouldn't it be great to live by myself so that I can have a dog so that I can be responsible and go out for a nice early morning walk before I do anything? It's like, that'll get me going. But, yeah, I mean, it's just an afterthought, not really a wish. I did the bad thing and bought a box set of DVDs this week. I think they're pre-owned, but they're probably in good condition. But box sets usually cost, well, I checked on the internet, like the box set that I bought cost like $90 to $120 off other retailers, and I bought it for $50, literally. And I was like, well, that's a pretty cheap box set. And so I bought it. But I didn't know if I'll watch it that much. I'm sort of already bored of whatever I had an interest in. I just bought it because I'm like, $50. I mean, I may as well buy it while it's cheap. And then I realized, and then I was actually alerted to the fact that there are bushfires around. And then I was like, oh, not a good time to be collecting stuff. And so I kind of regretted it because, like I said, we just need any kind of thing to surprise us, and all your belongings are at risk. And so I sort of regretted it a little, but I bought it already, so what are you gonna do about it? I'm not sure if I'm gonna even watch it when I get it. I'm just gonna stuff it in my drawer and be like, forget about it. It's like buying a Barbie doll. I bought a collectible Barbie doll in the last year, and it's like at the time I really wanted it, but now that I have it, I just have it in a drawer. So same with this DVD set. It's like I probably just put it in a drawer and not even watch it. Of course, I will watch it one day, but I don't really feel like watching it right now, like right away. I'm just getting over watching the little clips of it off the internet. For some reason, I keep having all these memories, and then I feel like a feeling of loss. Because I've been watching clips off the internet. It's like I feel a lot of loss lately, and then I get pissed, and then I get sad, and then I get mad, and then I get depressed. My life isn't perfect, but it's definitely been quite interesting in little bits. But I never took any videos or anything. And if I did, I lost them, or the phone, or the camera, or the little storage thing was corrupted. But I've definitely had a lot of experiences. And when I watch things on the internet, it's like I reminisce a lot. Like in my mind, I sort of create like bubbles of memories. And then I sort of just go daydreaming while I'm watching a clip of the things that I remember, the things that I liked, things that I didn't like. And then I end up remembering a whole chain of things events that I have literally like forgotten about. I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't remember everything about my life, but it's definitely been kind of interesting. And there definitely has been like some memories where you're like, oh, I wish I could hold on to that and sort of have it so that I can feel it and sense it like I sensed it when I was actually there. But of course, you can't do that. I mean, your memories are your memories. You're lucky if you actually remember anything but fog and absence. But when you realize that you can remember things and you're like, oh my gosh, I remember that. Um, like you start remembering of like the things you liked, and then the things around it, and then the dramas and the arguments and the happy times and everything, and then you just get back some memories that you've sort of overlooked or wiped away from your center of the peak of your mind, and you're like going, I know like I'm a little bit of a dud, but there are some interesting moments that I have experienced in the past, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could kind of live them again sometimes, because I like the feelings, and I like what was there at the time. But now it's today's today though, and it's like, what do you want today? And it's like, do you want what you had yesterday? And you're like going, no, not really. I mean, yesterday's yesterday, and today's today, and tomorrow's tomorrow. So there are different phases, but then sometimes you get depressed, or you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just have that moment again kind of attitude. And it's like, but of course you can't. And you do wonder what keeps you up at night once you realize that. But today I was reminiscing, would you ever go out with someone from the past who you used to date? And it's like, I don't know. I mean, number one, you've got age against you, everyone's getting older. I literally like haven't had friends ever since after a certain period of time when I started to be like, oh, I'm no longer young and I'm kind of a little bit old, and then everyone sort of didn't really like me anymore. So, and then I wandered off. So, so I've sort of been a big loner for quite a while, And the worst part about it is that you're getting older and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, it's a time that you kind of need. I mean, can imagine how much you need some support. But instead of support, I just found myself isolated. But in retrospect, once you realize, well, in isolation, I found something new, and which I obviously liked and cherished. Once again, having memories of and being like, oh, I wish I could go back to that moment because I really liked it. So, so sometimes everything sort of makes sense, and it's like, well, I'm sort of glad because then I wouldn't have had this experience if this that hadn't happened, or maybe you would. I don't know, no idea. Anyway, what was I talking about? Would I go out with an ex? And I'm like, probably not. Everyone's probably getting freaking old, and I don't want to stand in front of someone and have them say, "Oh, you look kind of crap," and stuff like that, which was something probably at least 60% of my ex relationships might say. Of course, once you realize 60% of your exes is like one person, so but but anyway, I don't have to worry about exes. I mean, I think there's a high percentage that everyone's just gonna like die rather than recover a relationship. So I'm just sort of better off just putting on my little sunnies, which are in still my drawer. I'm yet to pick out like which one I want to wear this summer, so I have to sort of figure it out. I know which one I want to wear, but then I realize, oh, the one that I want to wear doesn't go with everything that I have. On my holiday, I took my invisible framed sunglasses, which I didn't actually use because it wasn't really that sunny. It was kind of overcast from the second day. Um, but I probably will wear the invisible ones immersed because I mean that's the invisible framed ones are the ones that go with most like probably the most things. And then I realized I want like a black glass and white frames. But I've had that before and you get picked up by any blonde on a beach. He says, "Hi, I like your glasses." And then they steal them off you because white frames with no, dark glass with white frames. Everyone sort of iconically thinks only blondes should wear them. So yeah, that's why I don't have them anymore because I literally meet blondes on a beach and they just want them. So would you believe that's actually just a true story? So somewhere in the world, some blonde had, or probably had, because I mean this happened like over 15 years ago. Um, some blonde had either had or has my glasses. So, and then you're like, oh, I think I've bought in my whole entire life 2 sets of glasses with white frames, and each time someone comes up to me and says, "I like your glasses, but they look better on me," and then they snatch them and run off because you shouldn't have glasses that look like that, apparently. And it probably doesn't help that they were kind of expensive too, but I mean, it's not as bad as someone swiping your car or something. So. But I'm so tired. I have no idea what time it is. I'm guessing it's close to 12. And I should be actually getting to bed so that I can get up at 7 tomorrow and stop by 8 o'clock. I get more like 7:15 and then I stop by 8 o'clock my job, which is an all dayer, so I'm going to be blind as a bat by tomorrow afternoon.